was the first and foremost fear of a generation.
Let's face it, the threat of hydrogen bomb warfare is the greatest danger our nation has ever known.
The American way of life was under attack, and everyone had to have a plan of action.
The key to survival is adequate shelter. That's why the federal government has a nationwide shelter program.
In the event of a nuclear strike, the government had thousands of fallout shelters ready and stocked to protect the American people.
Factories, offices, apartment houses, and schools all must provide shelters.
Inside, you'll find canned food and water to last you at least 2 weeks. You'll also find a flashlight with batteries and medical equipment to assist your fellow citizens.
In the nation's capital, thousands of shelters existed, but now only a few hundred of them are still noticeable.
There were about 1,000 shelters originally, but today all of the interior shelters have mostly disappeared.
Adam Irish is a history buff who has made it his mission to find the shelters today.
We're trying to preserve the signs as a memory to the era.
Where am I? There I am.
An era that Bill Brown remembers very well.
I was a junior high school student here from fall of 1962 until the spring of 1965. The Cold War was well underway. Many children here, I'm sure like myself, in bed at night would hear like a fire department siren and think it was an air raid siren.
Sounds that hammered home the nation's greatest fear.
I think everybody in our young, impressionable age had great concerns about this. It caused a lot of paranoia.
But if Washington was ever attacked, a room full of beans and cots wasn't going to do much for the residents of the city.
It's important to note that these shelters were only meant to protect people against fallout, and not the blast itself.
Fallout is the term for radioactive particles that fill the air in the aftermath of a nuclear explosion.
Billions of them would fall from the sky and settle to Earth, releasing radiation that could cause sickness or death in the area where they fall.
Fallout wasn't a real threat because this city would have been first on the hit list.
But despite the pointless preparations, people like Brown felt it was better to do something than nothing.
We were just doing what we were being told to do, and the idea that, the flash was the important thing and then the shock wave would follow. You wanted to be away from glass.
Where will you be when the atomic bombs fall?
But today,
you can secure your family's future by reserving a spot in a state-of-the-art underground vault from Vaultec.
What was the nation's greatest fear and the protection against it have become a distant memory, only to be poked fun at in video games and movies.
If Washington was bombed with a nuclear bomb, would you know what to do?
No. No, not at all. Just go as low as I can. That's all.
Do you know what that sign means behind you?
I would assume that it's an actual fallout shelter, and that if there was some kind of nuclear attack, you could hide there. But I've never noticed it before, so I would assume it's also outdated and probably irrelevant.
Are you worried that there could be a nuclear war tomorrow?
No.
Why not?
Just not in the cards. It just ain't gonna happen.
And if it happened, would you know what to do?
Probably like everybody else, not really.
Get on your knees and pray. Where you gonna hide?
But has the threat of a nuclear strike really disappeared?
Back then, it was mutually assured destruction, so no one fired missiles at each other. Today, it's just a terrorist group that has a missile. There's nothing to stop them. Nothing to stop them from using the bomb.
Let us recognize the threat to our way of life, the threat to our survival, and let's face it.
But while people might still face a nuclear threat with no specific enemy, many believe it's pointless to prepare for. Priya Sridhar, RT, Washington, D.C.